Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here with a thorough, in-depth review of Red Rooster Season 1, Episode 1 with a Walmart sticker on it. Okay, so I was very happy with this book. I recommend it. I always talk about my little quibbles and constructive critiques, but I have to address the elephant in the room because if I don't, my commenters will. The reason I heard about this book was because of customers complaining about it online. Red Rooster was funded as an Indiegogo campaign, I think in like 2017, really early on. And it was supposed to be, I think, funded in 2018. I'm probably messing up the dates. But basically, it got to be over a year late. I don't know if it got to be almost 2 years late. And this, of course, made some of the customers unhappy who were waiting for the book. And it was released in Walmarts. Some customers claimed before they received their books from backing the campaign, which kind of like, as I described that, I'm cringing a little bit like, oh man, that's not a good look. Oh boy. So that's kind of like the sad news of it. Now, the reason I'm kind of sad about that is I actually think Red Rooster and the other Allegiance Arts comics being in Walmart should be a really triumphant moment, right? Like, I believe comic books should be in Walmart. The Walmart populace are basically like cool, blue collar Trump supporters, right? Like, they love Batman and Superman and Spider-Man stuff at Walmart. People debated a bit about whether it was a good idea for DC to get books in Walmart. It's obviously like a really big risk to put indie comics in Walmart, but that's almost exactly the right clientele. If you believe it's really important to get comic books out of just the comic book shop and into normie headquarters, that's exactly what Walmart is. So I really, really, really want something like Allegiance Arts to be able to succeed in Walmart. And it's obviously going to be a tough landscape. So $5, more expensive than like a Marvel or DC book, kind of competitive with like the Walmart bargain bin. When I was in college, it used to be like $5 DVDs, and now it's like $5 Blu-rays and $3 DVDs. So you're still not quite low enough on price point that you're competing with the $3 DVD bargain bin, but you're at least at such a low price that you are that's really respectable, and that's a lot more competitive than like the $25 Indiegogo books. And Walmart's taking a cut too, right? So pretty good price point. Now, I was a backer. I guess I'm just going to put everything out in the open. I was a backer initially of Red Rooster. After it was about a year late and some other issues, I lost confidence in the book and I requested a refund. And if I had paid $25 or $30 or whatever for the book, and then I had to go out and buy it at Walmart for $5, I would be feeling really bad as a customer. And one of the tough things is the people who paid big money for Red Rooster sight unseen are clearly your core target, like passionate customers. So if like mom and dad at the Walmart store are like your casual customers, oh, this looks interesting, I'll pick it up. Your core target demographic is like people who really believe in you as an artist and want to see you succeed. So for me, a big thing in supporting comic artists is I want independent comic artists, and I want Christian artists to be able to succeed in the arts and in the culture. And I can tell from Red Rooster that there's a Christian subtext to this. It's not slapped on like really obviously, but it is there present, a kind of Christian theme of legacy and taking a moral stand and your principles potentially being undermined by the culture you live in. So I really love the themes of the book. I want to address one more issue. So Mark Pellegrini is credited as the writer. I asked them a little bit about kind of like the behind the scenes stuff, so hopefully I can represent this correctly. You guys can, Mark and Tim, correct me if I get this wrong. So Mark was hired as the writer. He wrote the script and turned it in early. And then the Breitweisers decided to do it like a revision process, and Mark Pellegrini was not part of the revision process. So that means that Mark Pellegrini isn't responsible for the delay. The delay happened for other kinds of reasons. Also, I've been told that in the revision process, it's significantly different than what Mark Pellegrini wrote originally. So basically that means I'm qualifying this review by saying I really like this comic. I don't know how much of it is Mark's ideas. I don't know how much of it is Mitch Breitweiser's idea. It'd be kind of interesting to see the original draft, but I haven't seen the original draft. And what I read in this, I was very, very happy with. I want to show you one other really neat thing, which is that Mark and Tim have done like this really nice thing where they give people, like, they do little cameos to indie comics or give people a chance to kind of like promote their book in one of their books. And to me, that's just such a sweet thing. Like, I would be so honored by something like that. So in Black Ops 2, they had USAGI kind of like dig through some things and find the bubblegum card. And she says, well, Grandpa only showed it to me once, but he told me that when he was a kid, it was the most important thing in the world to him. And it's the signed Red Rooster bubblegum card and the Red Rooster ring. And I read this again after I read this, and it really just like hit me that this is such a beautiful little moment, because it's underscoring the importance of hero worship for a young child and what that means for them in their life. And then Red Rooster is kind of about the topic of hero worship. So basically, my moral lesson for anyone in indie comics is if you want to succeed in indie comics, look carefully at the Mark Pellegrini, Tim Lim business style. Not just that too, but basically anyone they've teamed up with. I see quality. I see like the Doug Ernst Soul Finder campaign. I know that Tim Lim helped kind of like do some of the logistics of getting that out on time. I think they have figured out that. Well, one thing they learned, they had a book late. I think Trump's Space Force was like a month late. I didn't back that one, but I backed all their other stuff, and all that, everything else I got from them was on time. They learned, get the book done before you crowdfund. So that's a lesson everybody should be doing. I'm probably going to start only backing books where the art and story has been completely done for future purchases. And the other thing they do is they have been staying out of the drama that kind of like characterized comics Twitter last year. Like, if you go to Mark and Tim's channel, they're talking about animation, they're talking about comic books, they're interviewing cool people. I've been a guest on there a couple times. It's just a fun little channel, and that's a relief. Like, these books are fun. I didn't want to get into comics so I could yell about people for the rest of my life. I wanted to get into comics so I could enjoy good stories. Politics is for yelling about people and being miserable for the rest of my life, right? So I don't care. Like even if a rabbit book isn't your thing, I think it's an excellent book for kids, and it's got like a really good moral heart to it that makes it good for adults too. But even if rabbits aren't your favorite animal and you want to get into comics, you still need to pay attention to the Tim Lim, Mark Pellegrini model, and this was just a very sweet homage. So now that I've established that, I'd love to see them, collaborating with Allegiance Arts in the future, all kinds of stuff like that. So my review of the Red Rooster book that was released to Walmart. It's a good book. I really like it. I feel like it was kind of made for people like me, where I really like Superman. I really like old school Captain Marvel, Shazam, Green Lantern, The Phantom. So Breitweiser is clearly wanting to have a think about the old school golden age superhero. Now, the problem with a lot of these kinds of characters is sometimes it's really obvious which golden age superhero they're supposed to be. So Red Rooster has a pretty strong Superman vibe to him in that he's kind of been like the number one hero. He's a sort of moral center. He comes from big town instead of Smallville, but he does have some nice other things mixed into his character, like the ancient Rooster Creed that's kind of like the Green Lantern Creed. And this didn't get established until like the last pages, but there's also like the mantle of the Red Rooster is passed down from generation to generation, kind of like the Phantom. Now, this also gets expanded here, but Breitweiser is interested in how in the Depression era and the Golden Age, mass media became a thing. Movies, radio, comic books, they're all forms of mass media. And this is actually an early parallel of our problem in the Twitter age, which is a great idea. It's not stated this directly or bluntly in the book, but I did pick that up, that Red Rooster is a hero who's struggling to figure out what he's supposed to do in kind of the age of commercialization and capitalization. The other neat thing about this is the Depression era, which is obviously like a really important age for a lot of the first superheroes. And my grandparents were both deeply affected by the Depression, to the point that basically for the rest of their lives afterwards, they lived their lives as if in preparation for another depression. We are now entering into an age where, they're like 1920s memes. People wanted the Roaring Twenties to come back, and we got the what pandemic, right? I hope prohibition doesn't come back. Jeez. But the point is that as the old people who lived through the Depression are starting to die out, that any of them who are still alive have to be at least in their 80s, and for them to have memories, they've got to be in their late 90s, right? So we're running out of people who remember the Depression. Zoomers and the next generation will probably never meet someone who lived through the Depression. And when that starts to happen, the culture has to look back and figure out, what can we learn from that period of time? Because that was the era that created the generation that stormed the beach of Normandy. Do we have the moral resolve to have our young boys like storm the beach of Normandy and die, by the truckload as cannon fodder to break the Axis powers? I don't know, right? We have to look back at older generations to teach us what we need to do. We're all worried we could be going into another depression with this recession, right? We have to look back to look forward. So that theme throughout this book is really good. Maybe my quibble with it is I don't think a little kid would enjoy Red Rooster so much. I enjoy it because I see this as a really thoughtful, what does the golden age superhero mean? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be moral? And I love that stuff. The other thing about golden age books, though, is that they're really corny and goofy and fun and crazy, and, evil scientists are stealing 40 cakes, like all kinds of crazy, insane stuff that kids would love too. And I feel like this needs a little bit more of the crazy, kooky kid stuff for like the, Walmart family getting a book for little Johnny. But for me, kind of like a thoughtful, what is heroism? This is a great book. So opens with Red Rooster kind of like ruminating on his past. He seems like he's kind of a broken down man, and he heroically intervenes to save like one of his little, kids who idolizes him. So one little quibble I have here, the kid's mouth is open, and so it looks like he's supposed to be saying wait here, but that's not pointing at him. So instead it just looks like he's kind of, maybe this was intentional. He looks like he's just sort of like mouth agape in stunned silence. I'd have had something to maybe like clarify that, like gasp. If he's just supposed to be thinking here, gasp would have done it. Or if he's supposed to be saying wait, have him say wait here, and Mr. Wait down here. So Red Rooster saves him, the kid recognizes him, and he signs his card, which is the card that appears in the little bonus section of USAGI. So that's a really nice connection because it adds a lot more moral weight and emotional warmth to this moment. I didn't like this face. This is this face I was thinking of that I thought was a little badly sketched out, or the kid doesn't look like a kid. However, Mitch Breitweiser has a stupendous art style. He's doing kind of a loose breakdown style with some, loose brushwork, and I love it. I love kind of loose gestural art. That's one of my favorite things, as long as it has like movement and flow to it. And so it has an overall, like sometimes loose breakdown art, you get problems like this because you're just sketching it out. But loose breakdown art also has like a lot of vivaciousness and flow to it. And if you're a practiced artist, sometimes your loose breakdown art is as beautiful as your polished art too. Breitweiser also does some good stuff with sequential art, like showing little moments to help us connect, like running, grabbing, getting pulled onto the train. That's some good stuff. And then they show flashbacks to kind of like his golden age, golden years, where he's a hero on the top of his game. He's bringing in the bad guys. And then they kind of establish that to pay the bills, Red Rooster is shooting basically commercials for a pop company. And is he cheapening his legacy, and is he cheapening what it means to be the Red Rooster in order to make money? And this is a struggle for him. Strong Boy clearly seems to have I'm guessing he was like a boy's sidekick, and he's kind of grown into a bit of an asshole. So he's got some problems. Red Rooster kind of checks them before, check yourself before you wreck yourself kind of a moment. And they have to band together and go get all the bad guys who broke out. It's a really fun roster of cool old-timey bad guys, and there seems to be like a sinister behind-the-scenes plot developing where an evil society wants to destroy the society of Red Rooster, which represents virtue. They get to the town and there's some shenanigans, and the bad guys say, okay, let's go get Red Rooster. And it sets it up with, we're going to, I guess, have some danger in the second issue. Not a lot of fighting. There was kind of like one big, I guess there was him fighting the drunk hillbilly, and there was him chasing down Motormouth, which was kind of a fun scene. I feel like for the little kid at Walmart, you've got to pack in, some more crazy shenanigans into it to get them like, wow, things are blowing up, right? Now, for me, I love it. This was good enough that I want to buy the next one. I want to see what's going to happen next. So it was a good issue. You have to take care of your customers. So this is one of those things where when customers unhappy, that's when it starts to explode into like a giant flame war on the internet. And it is a good policy to kind of, like, I had to learn this. It is a good policy to take a step back and not let yourself get emotionally involved in it, right? And I think generally from what I've seen of Mitch, he does a good job of kind of like staying out of the nonsense world of Twitter wars. However, since a lot of your customers are unhappy, like if it were me, I would say, my bad. Everyone who backed the book, I will give you the digital comic for free or something, right? I would do like even if, like, I know you think, but if I give them the digital comic for free, they could pirate it, right? But they could pirate it anyway, right? Do something big to show them you hear their concerns, and you're going to do something to make it up for them, to the people who backed your book. Or I don't know, next time, if you ever do crowdfunding again, get the art completely 100% done before you go to the crowdfunding phase. The crowdfunding crowd is it's a tiny crowd, but it's a really passionate crowd. And I think you really need that passionate crowd to signal to Walmart, hey, let's go buy Red Rooster, to show how much we support this and want this to succeed, right? You have to make that group happy, so that, because you're going to need them to keep this book alive in a competitive environment like Walmart. I want comics to succeed in Walmart. I want Allegiance Arts to succeed. I want this to become a viable venue for independent comic artists to get their books into a Walmart. And I really wish them success. There are always going to be like Twitter wars. There's always going to be Twitter back and forth and personality things, but I just always hope and pray that, we can look past some of the interpersonal stuff and we can focus on what's important. The Tim Lim, Mark Pellegrini team are pointing the way to the future for us. Red Rooster, this is ambitious, putting it in Walmart. I want Red Rooster to succeed. I hope it does succeed. Oh, typo. All right. So I have had a few reviews where I've noticed typos, and I have had it. So I am officially making this an announcement. You can hire me to be your editor. If I catch no typos, you pay nothing. If I catch a typo, you pay me $5. $5 per typo that I catch. You're right about one thing. No space! It needs a space! Hire me, Indie Comics Twitter. I'm OCD and a grammar Nazi. I will find the typos and save your book. All right. DM me on Twitter. I want $5 per typo I find, and I'd like your permission to review your book on my YouTube channel, basically. And I'll white it out and do spoiler warnings or wherever you want, but I'd like the opportunity to review your book if you send it to me for read. You pay nothing. You pay absolutely nothing. If I do not find the typos, I will find all the typos. I'm the absolutely finest typo finder. And you pay only $5 per typo if I find it. Tremendous, spectacular. I'm one of the finest people, the greatest typo finder you'll ever find. All right, that's it. I'm no more big fan. I love you guys. Wait, I want to look one more thing. The venerable mantle of the Red Rooster passed from generation to generation, battling the most ancient and pernicious evils. Frank Cooper found himself donning the cape and cowl at the dawn of mass media. Motion pictures and radio plays catapulted the once secretive Order of the Dawn into the spotlight of celebrity, potentially to catastrophic effect, a risk we all navigate in the era of social media. Okay, yeah, I basically talked about that. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Fantastic. really good comic. Best of luck to everybody. I love you guys. Catch you later.